When we discuss Missy Elliott, we usually talk about her work with Timbaland, their impact on hip-hop, giving rise to icons like Aaliyah. We discuss her lyrical talent, the fact that she's the first female hip-hop artist to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, her brilliant music videos, and her overall barriers broken down as a plus-size female in the music industry. But what no one seems to give her praises for is her career-long commitment to girl groups. So let's start from the beginning. Some of you might be surprised to know that Missy started in a girl group herself. In about 1989, she formed her own girl group called Phase Z. She wrote and produced the group's music, including their first radio hit, First Move. Soon after that, she met Timothy Mosley, who we all know today as Timbaland, and this would be the start of one of the best duos to ever do it. They produced banger after banger, many of which will be mentioned in this video. Around 1992, Missy was able to score the group a record deal after talking her way backstage at a Jodeci concert, where she met the group's leader, Devontae Swing, who was spearheading his own label at the time. The group was renamed Sista, and Missy, Timbaland, and Devontae were the main contributors to their first album, For All the Sistas Around the World, released in 1994. Missy is credited on Hip Hop, Sweat You Down, Find My Love, 125th Street, I Don't Mind, Secret Admirer, Sweet Thing, Brand New, I Wanna Be With You, and Good Thing.
Rolling up on a 120. You'll be the first witness, right? That I'm the girl of your life.
Now, this album was originally shelved because their first single did not do so well despite getting positive reviews, so it wasn't released until 2017. But if you're somebody who enjoys R&B, this is a surprisingly easy album to listen through for as old as it is. It's cool to hear Missy vocally focus when we know her as a rapper predominantly. She's still rapping in this album, but you can really get a feel for her vocal range, and her voice is super distinct, so you know it when you hear it. But not long after this album was shelved in 1995, the group disbanded as Devontae was accused of being a very hostile and controlling manager. At one point, he allegedly started throwing furniture around the room with them in it, and Missy was having absolutely none of it and left the group and the label the very next day. As she would go on to work with Aaliyah, she still had the itch to work with girl groups, and in 1996, she linked up with the up-and-coming girl group 702 for their debut album, No Doubt. She provided the vocal arrangement for Get Down Like That and wrote for Not Gonna, Round and Round, and Stilo. And Stila was actually remade to become the theme song of Nickelodeon show Cousin Skeeter, which is how I personally remember the song. I was a kid when these songs were coming out, but my sisters were 5 and 10 years older than me, so luckily I got to hear their music growing up. The debut album was a success, selling over 500,000 copies, and it would not be their last collaboration with Missy. In 1997, Missy worked with one of the most respected girl groups in the world, SWV, and they birthed Release Some Tension, which is an alternate version of Missy's own Release the Tension. She also wrote for the track Can We for the same album. That same year, Missy and Timbaland linked with the girl group Total and produced one of my favorite R&B songs, What About Us? And I'm still so addicted to that beat, and Pamela Long's vocals are so unique and sexy. And that song just really takes you back, and I still have so much love for it. On to 1998, Missy would work with Total once again for their second and final full-length album, Kim, Keisha, and Pam. Missy and Tim wrote and co-produced Trippin', which Missy also featured on. Missy also wrote and produced for tracks I Tried, There Will Be No Tonight, Do Something, I Don't Wanna, Move Too Fast, and Bet She Can. Missy would also write for Rock Track and the What About Us remix. This album marks Missy's second contribution to a body of work to sell over 500,000 copies after 702. Separate from the album, Total and Missy also recorded What the Dealio for the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love. For that same movie soundtrack, Missy and Timbaland also recruited the newest girl group on the block, Destiny's Child, producing a song titled Get on the Bus. That same year, she collaborated with SWV again for a track called I Wanna Be Where You Are, which is a Michael Jackson cover.
I wanna be where you are. Oh.
Missy also wrote for the short-lived girl group Illusion on their track Good and Plenty. And then, in 1999, the mecca of female anthems, the cultural reset, the absolute banger of a girl group song was unleashed. Missy Elliott co-wrote and co-produced Where My Girl's At for the group 702, and I swear the song could be released today and it would still be a hit. It manages to feel so R&B and so pop at the same time, yet Camila's vocal performance wraps it all up in soul and it just works so darn well. This song is just a timeless banger, and Billboard named the song number 46 on their list of 100 greatest girl group songs of all time. It should be a lot higher, but whatever. Missy also worked with Destiny's Child for a second time, and she co-wrote Confessions for their Writings on the Wall album. Moving into the millennium, Missy would write for Total once again for what would be their last single, Quick Rush, for the action comedy film Bait.
Touch me, you give me a quick rush.
Now in 2001, Missy was involved in producing something extra special and something I deem to have every bit of a place in this video. The 2001 rendition of the LaBelle's Lady Marmalade is its own era in pop culture. This remix was produced by Missy for the Moulin Rouge film, and it was the longest reigning #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for 13 years until Iggy Azalea's Fancy surpassed it in 2014. It still holds the record for the longest reigning female collaboration to hold the #1 spot at 9 consecutive weeks on Billboard's mainstream top 40. It was the top-selling single of 2001, selling 5.2 million copies, and it got Missy her first Grammy. And if all of that wasn't enough, she also managed to squeeze in the Bootylicious remix for Destiny's Child, which is a more toned-down R&B vibe. The original is way too iconic, but this is cool too. After 2001, things started to slow down, likely because girl groups kind of stopped being a thing, unfortunately for me. But in 2002, Missy and Timbaland wrote Dirty Dirty for TLC's 3D album. In 2003, she collabed with the girl group Black for what would have been their third studio album, but it was shelved and not released until 2019. She wrote and produced the tracks Ugly, That's Right, I hate saying it that way, Freakazoid, Nappy Dugout, and produced Wanksta, and she featured on all except Nappy Dugout.
'Cause I'm not your freakazoid, your late night chick. That's right, baby, don't you try. No more for you. It's over.
So 2003 would be technically Missy's last collab with a girl group all the way until 2008. When she co-wrote and featured on Danity Kane's Bad Girl, and I love this song. It is my favorite Danity Kane song, and to this day, I still break out in Missy's rap at random. It was so catchy and so easy to remember for some reason.
B-A-D-C-H-I-C, looking so sexy, make 'em debate me.
She also co-wrote and featured on a Pussycat Dolls song called What You Think About That for their Doll Domination album.
Tonight I'm going out and ain't coming back. You ain't gonna get no more pussycat.
And it would be 5 long years until Missy would work with another girl group. In 2013, Missy decided to jump on a Little Mix track called How You Doin'.
You can never play miss, got my mind twisted. Whenever I don't answer, you be leaving messages.
And member Jessie Nelson actually recalled crying when she got the news because she was a huge fan. The track is very pop, very funky. And Perry, it was before she got her tonsils removed, so her voice is just husky and deep and brilliant. It still is, but it was just different before she got her tonsils removed. In 2016, Missy featured on a Fifth Harmony song called Not That Kind of Girl from their 727 album. And I wish there was more to say about this collab, but there isn't. Then we would go through a 7-year drought before Missy would collab with the girl group I have very high hopes for. In 2023, UK girl group Flow would score their collab with the song Fly Girl. I initially thought nothing of the title until the teaser dropped, giving us a clear sample of Missy's 2002 hit Work It.
If you're a fly gal, get your nails done, get a pedicure, get your hair did.
At that point, I was suspicious, but I didn't want to outright say it. But I was dropping hints that I felt like something was coming, and sure enough, they dropped the visual teaser that outright said Fly Girl featuring Missy Elliott. And I just feel like this rollout was made for me. Like, I specifically was at the edge of my seat waiting for this confirmation. And I just don't know that anybody else was like I was, so I conclude that this was for me. But seriously, I'm so excited for this group. I think this is just the beginning for them. We should be getting their album in 2024, and I can't wait to see what their sound is like. And for our last entry, we have the new duo called Fly and a Boss. These girlies completely took over TikTok with their marketing for their track You Wish.
Hello, Christ. I'm about to sin again.
Which consisted of them running through different locations. They ran through the Santa Monica Pier, Disneyland, even through Google headquarters, as well as random looking streets. It even inspired others to do their own versions. It was a really fun time, but a bunch of fun suckers started criticizing them for being so repetitive. As if that isn't the entire premise of TikTok, whether everyone's doing the same dance, everyone's using the same sound, everyone's doing the same prank. It's a very repetitive app. But sure, let's engage in some selective outrage. And that brewing hate mob is when Missy decided to chime in. This person tweeted, "I promise I'm not hating, I'm legit asking. How many times are they gonna do the same thing in different videos for this song?" And Missy replied that this was an old school tactic. If you do a bunch of things, you confuse the audience. They don't know who you are. That's why the most successful artists have eras. And for that era, they consistently do the same style and sound, so you build a particular fan base. Example, my first album, I wore finger waves the entire time. My sound was a futuristic vibe, even down to the way I danced. It was a jerky move. But all the elements established the type of artist I was. You must be consistent when you're a new artist. A few months after taking up for the duo on September 6th of 2023, Missy dropped a snippet of her verse on the Would Be You Wish remix.
I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ooh, pressure. I got many hits to take you 10 years to catch.
The full song dropped the next day. And I think this whole situation was just so effing cool of her. And the fact that the Flow collab and the Fly and a Boss collab happened in the same year shows me that she is an enthusiast. She has been watching and waiting for Western girl groups to rise again. Even in the 2010s, she made sure to collab with the two most prominent girl groups of that decade. She stays supporting, she likes girl groups. I don't know if she would ever collab with a K-pop group. She collabed with G-Dragon in the past, but if she were to hop on a girl group track, I would nominate XG. I think they have something totally different going on in terms of K-pop girl groups, and their particular brand of R&B or pop R&B is very fun and unique, just like Missy is. They do have a remix version of their song Left Right with Sierra. A frequent collaborator with Missy, so I don't think it's that out of the question. We'll see. And that concludes our updated Missy Elliott video. I hope this isn't the last update I have to do. R&B girl groups are on the rise, and I hope they are here to stay. Follow me on social media if you don't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.